Hi, I'm Peter Travers, and this is Popcorn, where we tell you what's going on at the movies. And a major going on right now is a movie called Me and Orson Welles, which tells a lot of secrets about a genius. The movie is directed by Richard Linklater and stars Zac Efron. Zac and Rick will be with us in just a minute, but right now, to find out what they're going to talk about, let's take a peek at Me and Orson Welles.
Can you play the ukulele?
Mr. Welles, you'd be hard-pressed to find someone who could play the ukulele better than me.
The kid's got balls. Will you work for nothing?
Orson!
Quiet, I'm negotiating. Have you ever heard anybody so in love with the sound of his own goddamn voice as Jack Gielgud? That drawing room school of Shakespeare makes my blood boil. It has nothing to do with the violence, passion, the blood of the Elizabethan stage. Did you hear my Hamlet on radio?
Yes, on the Columbia workshop last fall.
What did you think?
Well, considering the time constraints you were under trying to squeeze Hamlet into 2 half-hour broadcasts, I'd say the results were very close to brilliant.
That is exactly correct.
Richard Linklater, Zac Efron, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
You have done a movie called Me and Orson Welles. Neither of you is Orson Welles. You didn't direct as Orson Welles. You didn't star as Orson Welles.
We're both me's, though.
So Zac is the me.
In our own world.
The me. Yeah. So can you set it up for us, Zac, and just tell us who this me is that you're playing?
Yeah, me.
Me.
I play Richard in the film. It's a coming-of-age story about this guy, and he gets really lucky and kind of talks his way into a part in a Orson Welles adaptation of Julius Caesar in 1937 at the Mercury Theater.
This is completely inadequate. Very possibly the worst-looking thing I've ever seen in my life.
We've just had 50,000 of them printed.
They're not entirely bad.
Are you both like Wellesian scholars? I mean, where's it come from? What did you know?
Make a movie, you become
Anything about Orson Welles?
I knew mostly about Orson through his movies. I knew about Citizen Kane.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I showed up on set here, I realized I didn't know the first thing about him. I didn't know about any of his accomplishments or what he had done for radio or theater before, before the age of 22, before my age.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
I learned
right.
quite
You're
a
22 now.
Yeah.
Orson Welles is 22 in this movie.
And it's ridiculous.
Wells puts every 22-year-old to shame, certainly puts every 25-year-old to shame. By the time he's 25, he's already conquered and reinvented theater, radio, and now film. So
Yeah, it's
there's
only
no
Citizen
comparison.
Kane that he makes when he's 25.
Yeah.
I like to say that to people when they're having their 25th birthday.
Yeah.
Well, Orson Welles did Citizen Kane then, and they
Yeah.
say, "Screw you, man."
I heard.
This
Yeah, it's like it's
I'm
so
trying.
insulting.
I'm
It's
doing
so-
what I
it's
can.
so-
yeah.
yeah.
What was there about Zac that made you think he's the perfect guy to play Richard?
I sat down with Zac. I had seen Hairspray, and I
Link
knew,
Larkin immediately
Yeah.
calls to mind Richard. No.
No, but I don't really have any preconceptions before I meet any actor. You know, I want to just sit down with them and get who they are. You know, the vibe, and tell. You know, sat down with
I
Zac.
asked him if he had seen High School Musical. He said no. And I was like, God, that's the only reason I'm here right now. That's the
Yeah.
only reason I'm here right now.
You did kind of say, well, that's good. I might not be there.
It's like, just wait
But
till
like
after
I
we
said,
film.
No, I just, 15 seconds with Zac, I knew he was my guy. You know, he talked about this character being the closest to his own life. You know, he had done a lot of theater, he had been in touring shows, and that this was a backstage story that really, you know, felt very close to him.
That
But
was very, very much my
Yeah.
life. I mean, for 5, 6 years when I was younger. And I remember I was really excited to be able to share some of those stories.
And your character gets what in this play? One line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two
Maybe two.
couple
I
scenes.
think two.
Come on,
scenes.
do it. Do it.
And he's got the,
I want to hear
sir,
that.
here's
I want
a
it
sick man.
recreated now.
Here is a sick man that would speak with you. I meant
Go home and learn your lines.
I know my lines.
And I say you need more time. Remember, Junior, this tiny scene serves to humanize the entire historical pageant of the play.
In terms of just looking at this movie, when you look at it, you're looking at it in the editing room over and over and over again.
Oh, yeah.
What is the scene that you can look at in this movie that sticks with you, that you can still say to yourself, you know, and I don't mean the egomaniac way, I mean,
Right.
I'm satisfied with that. I can look at that 1,000 times, and it came close to what was in my head when I decided to make this movie.
I think one of the ones is the sequence, Zac and Christian, you know, they take this ambulance ride. He just pulls you out of the theater.
Yeah, yeah.
He tells you about magnificent ambersons. He confesses, you see kind of into his soul a little bit. He's talking about losing his parents at a young age. And then he whisks you off into the radio station. It's all like one long shot. You know, he's flirting with the young woman. He's lighting a cigar, doing a magic trick. He walks into the radio station, unrehearsed.
He becomes this invincible kind of guy.
You see him at the height of his magic and his powers and his confidence.
We open tomorrow. I'm proud of every member of this company. Every single one of you has come through. You're a magnificent company, on par with any theatrical company in the world. And after tomorrow, every literate person in this city is going to know who we are. They'll be lining up for the privilege of seeing our work.
You know,
What's the scene for you?
One scene that I like, that I'm in. With,
yeah, well,
That's
you
what I
have to.
want.
Yeah,
It has to be you.
Oh, it has to be me.
You have to be satisfied,
yeah.
at least
Right.
in a sense, with something that you did that was in your head when you signed on to do it. But now it's on screen, and there it is forever, ever to be changed.
I
Not
think
even on the DVD with the
No,
extras.
we're
You can't
locked
come
in.
back and say take 27 was better. No, this is the way it is.
It
I
should
think
be.
it's where Richard, my character, is talking to Sonia and says we could have a show that closes, or we could have a show that's remembered forever, for all time.
We might have a show that closes Thursday night, or we might have a show that people will remember for 50 years. Probably neither one of those, but you never know. That's what's so exciting.
And talking about the magic at the theater in that moment, because I know that I've tried so hard to explain to my friends who are not actors, who are not in the business, who really don't perhaps get anything out of watching movies, trying to explain to them what that feels like.
Rick, Zac, thank you so much for being
right.
with us. This
Thank
was
you,
so
thank
much
you.
fun.
Yeah, great talking
Yeah,
to
it's
you,
nice
as
talking
always.
to you, man.